Believe it or not, it's not always bad news. Sometimes it's just information. And the very low turnout for Keir Starmer's government proves that the country isn't with him. He just got lucky that week. There's questions about whether or not he represents women, even those without penises. The thing is, this is the lowest turnout and the lowest female vote for 100 years. So it's not so good, is it? He can show off all he wants about his majority, but it's a majority that's been cast because the system sucks, because the first past the post system is really detrimental to smaller parties and independent candidates who could probably do a better job in a particular constituency. So I don't see it all as bad news because 80% of the country didn't vote for him. The 20% that did is diminishing because they're already getting buyer's remorse, which I've said repeatedly. And I'll keep saying it as the messages keep coming in with more and more people saying they wish they'd never voted for Keir Starmer's Labour. But when I say it's not all bad news, remember when the independent, I'll read his title, Independent Inspector for Migration, he slammed the way the Home Office were running things and said it was chaotic and unachievable. But that's when James Cleverly was in power for the Tories, when he was the minister in charge. And guess what he did? He just sacked the guy that said it. So you don't need to fear Keir. They're all as bad as each other. This is why I'm not so afraid of Labour, because what was coming anyway, just that Rishi didn't have the balls to do it. And the difference with this Parliament and the last Parliament is that if Rishi had tried to put through legislation that this comedian's tried to put through, his parliamentarians would have probably stood up against him. Even if they were whipped, there's a chance, a possibility, many would have stood against it. But with Keir Starmer, he's got rid of about 7 MPs already who would stand up to him. Rebecca, what's she called? Rebecca Long-Bailey. She's a Corbynista, so she would have stood up to him anyway. She got the vote, but she still kept her seat. I think she's serving as an independent. Still a socialist, can't be trusted, because they like sharing everybody else's money out. But it's not all bad news, because we're heading down this road anyway. Keir Starmer's just doing the heavy lifting. You've also got to remember that the 51,000 illegals that came across on the little boats came across on Labour's watch, essentially. Sorry, the Tories' watch, essentially. So again, the blame can't be laid at Keir Starmer's feet because the other lot were in power. But they're all one lot, really, so this is why I haven't got to take it too personal. Now, as well as the 51,000 that came across via the little boats, there's another 50,000 that are also illegal on top of that figure. These have come from other sources, like illegally through the Channel Tunnel, hiding on trucks, ferries, illegal immigrants being used by traffickers, not just on the boats. So 51,000 and 50,000 is 101,000 that are sitting about at our expense. Now, the reason people take the hump, it's not because anybody's particularly against other nations. It's because we see what's happening to people who already live here paying taxes, like our pensioners being hit with the winter fuel allowance and the social cap being lifted. I am going on about these points because they're really big, important points, and the things that should be given back to the people to decide, not decided by idiots that are on a power trip who seem to be a middle management team for another set of idiots that want to change the demographic of the country. So this is why direct democracy is so important, because it gives the power back to the people. Now, what they really want to do, the ones that are in power at the moment, is take the power away from the people as much as they can. That's why Quangos are so popular. That's why they want non-government organisations organising your health, organising farming, organising everything. That's why Keir Starmer is signing up to the European Defence Pact. That's basically an open chequebook to use all our stuff at the behest of the European Union. Who are they? Who are these people? They're just unelected bureaucrats deciding what to do with lots and lots of money. Because with the European Defence Pact, it gives them carte blanche to use our military for their own needs. So effectively, if someone's rioting in Paris, they could be called upon to send our soldiers in from our country, or even worse, for a big major war where lives are lost. I mean, the average age of the front line over in Donbass of the soldiers fighting for that poor bloody country that's got a hope in hell's chance of winning is 43 now. So things aren't what they seem because the media's dishonest. And because the media's dishonest, the information isn't right. And so that's why people have to rely on podcasts and YouTube and other sources, because the media isn't telling you the truth. The media is giving you a narrative to keep you calm and quiet. And if more people knew what was going on, there'd be more a furor about it. There'd be more people complaining. Someone came up with quite a good suggestion, saying that what we should do is bombard these new MPs with lots of complaints about lots of issues, from potholes in the road to trees needing cutting back to footpaths needing clearing, litter, anything, just to make their life a nightmare, so they think it's not worth doing the job. But whilst we deal with a few facts and figures here on my YouTube channel, I think it's important to continue down the path of working out, going within about what's best for our lives and how you process information. My husband would get depressed if he did as much as I did. It gets to him. So the best thing is he shouldn't do it. He should just, he keeps up to date, he's no fool. But it wouldn't be right for his, they call it mental health these days. He'd get depressed if he handled what I handled and he saw my messages, and he wouldn't be able to cope with that. We'll get to him. There's millions of people like that, millions of people in denial about what's happened to them since they joined in the rollout. We've got to understand that that's human nature. People don't want to think they've taken part in a scheme that's caused them some sort of physical or mental demise. We have to accept that. That's normal behaviour, that's just being human. But what you've got to be careful of is watching out for charlatans online who are feeding into that fear that people now have and offering escape routes, providing you pay them, providing you pay the fee. Now, my escape route, I always believe the strongest person you know is you. You don't think it's you, but it's you. Because you're the only one tasked with the job of making you feel better. Doctors will probably prescribe pills, but the best thing you can do is look in the mirror and ask yourself what you can do for yourself. There's 101 things. There's many things you could do to make yourself feel better, especially if you've got in a rut where you're not looking after yourself like you used to, or things have declined around you. Get back into shape. When I say into shape, I don't necessarily mean physically fit. I mean, get back into knowing that you've got this life. You only get the one. It's not rehearsal. So get on with it. Know what's going on politically. Understand the direction of traffic. Join in with things where you're not alone, like the Together Declaration. They're on the 3rd anniversary this year, and I've stuck by them because they've stuck by what they said they'd do. I mean, without them, the NHS staff, the front line, would have either walked away, all 100,000 of them, before they would be forced into the mandate, or they'd have been forced into the mandate. And Together Declaration teamed up with them. They got plenty of publicity, and it stopped that. They stopped Parliament. Now, so this is what I mean when I say it's not all about who's in power. It's about who's around that can challenge those who are in power and wake people up. Because the thing we've got here, we've got a government with low support. All right, he's got a wonderful majority within his party, and he seems to get rid of dissenters. But you can't carry on like that for a long time. Things will change because his own infrastructure will crumble beneath him. So that will take care of itself to a degree, providing we can wake enough people up to see it. I mean, I do it when I'm in the supermarket. But again, the most important place you ever live is inside your head. So sort that out. Other things will fall into place. I think it's important to not... I know you're bound to do it, and you say, oh, well, I'm not worried about me, I'm worried for my grandchildren. Well, don't be worried for your grandchildren. People have to face all sorts in their lifespan that they have no control over. Earthquakes, volcanoes, tornadoes, bad governments, wars, famine. None of these are choices. These are what happens when you're just getting on with being a human. And obviously, depending on your thought process, I'm reasonably spiritual. I don't think it's just about flesh and blood. I think there's something within us that's, I don't know, call it a sixth sense or a spirituality, an intuition. Some people develop it more than others. And something tells you, your gut feeling, they always bring it down to a gut feeling, when something's not quite right or imbalanced, or you've got a feeling of foreboding, you can't just explain why. You need to listen to these inner voices. This is your safety mechanism, because in nature, dogs would listen to that. Wild animals would listen to that inner voice, if you want to call it, that tells you something's wrong. So the way you handle that is to do something about it. And when I say do something about it, I mean the simplest of things. Take yourself out. If you're sat in a particular room and you're feeling down, move from the room. The first thing you must do is move from that environment. Go to your kitchen, go to your bathroom, brush your teeth, make a cup of tea, do something physical, because you then have to concentrate on doing it. Take yourself out of the room, even opening a window and getting fresh air. I know it sounds mad, but that will break the cycle up. You've got to break the cycle up. Don't just sit there scrolling through depressing stuff on social media, thinking, where's my life going? Where am I going to end up? Don't think that, because so many people don't get the opportunity to know where they're going to end up. They're gone like that for various reasons. So it's important to break the cycle up. Even if you take your dog out for a walk, go and do something normal that gives you interaction with other people. Even though you probably have nothing in common with them, just pass the time of day, just get some fresh air. Do something normal, simple and normal. Wash your car, go and talk to someone, nip in your neighbours if you've got friendly neighbours. It's really important to break up that cycle and don't sit and stew on it, because that's what people do when they get down. They sit and they dwell on things, and you've got to stop that, because unfortunately it's become a bit of a habit after being locked down. But you need that inner strength, that mental agility, to be able to digest information and look to where you're going next. And where you're going next might be somewhere simple like a garden centre, or it might be going to see your nan, or it might be going to pick your grandkids up. Just get on with it. Just do it. It's not all about fighting all the time. Even a soldier gets a breather. So it's really important that you sort your ear out. And I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to drum up any following about it. I'm just an ordinary person. I have no qualifications in anything other than the fact I'm always fairly upbeat no matter what's going on. And I know sometimes people come to me to talk to me because when they've spoken to me they feel better. Nothing's changed. I haven't done anything. I haven't sorted a problem out. But sometimes just a bit of humour can help. Even a woman, she came to me. I don't know, I should tell you, because she's not been to the loo for 4 days. 4 days. And I went, oh, good God, no. Oh, I'd be dreading going. She thought she was going to get all sympathy. You know what I mean? Because I was going to say, oh, that's dreadful, take an X-Lax or take some laxatives. But I didn't. I just started laughing. And she said, what are you laughing at? I said, I'm just laughing at your next trip. There's going to be teeth marks on your toilet seat, I think. And she went, oh, no, don't say that, don't say that. Sadly, getting her laughing, I said, drink some water. For God's sake, get some water in your bloody diet. Lubricate your innards. That's what my grandma, you need to lubricate them innards. Lubricate your innards and your body won't let you down. I'm telling you that for nothing. And always have an apple every day. Keeps the doctor away. Don't want that bugger coming round. Them doctors. Oh, I don't know about them doctors. That would be down. I can't say that I disagree with her, because she was 99 3/4 when she died. Little roly-poly woman who had a bandage on her legs. When she had my dad, something happened like a thrombosis or something, and they said, you have to put this bandage on. Nobody told her to take it off, so she didn't. She bandaged her leg for like 59 years. And I said, well, when did they tell you to take it? Well, they never said take it off. I said, well, you maybe just didn't go back to A&E. Well, I'm not taking any chances. I'm leaving the bugger on. Anyway, she had this bandage leg, clean bandage. She didn't have the same one on. This is a woman who, when her hair started falling out, she started saving it in a brush and made little buns that she used to put on under her hairnet. God, it was so creepy. I go, Nan, what are you doing? But I liked older people. I liked going to see me Nan because she used to bake and she used to walk for all the shopping. Never had a fridge. Even when I used to go, I said, I'll buy you a fridge. I don't want one of them damn things. What do I want? One of them that start getting a fridge, I won't be going out. Well, I never seen a bugger. She used to talk like that. Because going up the street for me Nan, she'd put her hat on and she'd have her little shoes polished and she'd have a bag which she'd fit her pies in and she had melon and brown bread, that keeps you regular. Anyway, me mate, getting back, I digressed on her. Getting back to, I won't give her name away, we had that much fun and she did drink some water and a cup of tea. She actually went, well, she were here. Thanks for that one. Yeah, we had the front door open for a while because it went downstairs toilet she used. Dear me. But the thing is, if you can look at older people and see how they handle themselves, I mean, I think it's admirable that we come from, I'm really pleased, I wasn't at the time, but I'm pleased I've come from working class stock and been able to see the difference between what you can achieve if you put some effort in and where you've come from. Because if you know that difference, then you can always look back and think, well, whatever's happening to me, I'm not living there. I mean, lockdown would have absolutely crucified me as a 16-year-old living with my mum and dad. It would have ended me because the lack of contact, you know, with friends and socialising at 16, it's a massive thing, massive, much bigger than it is to an older person who's in a settled relationship. What about these poor sods that, you know, were entrapped with each other in abusive relationships? You know, someone who's planning to leave the wife. One couple got stuck together and he were suitcases packed, ready for off. I mean, I think I'd have booted him out anyway, wouldn't you, if you were ready? Go on, let him bloody go and live in your car. But things happen to people, and this has had a knock-on effect on everyone's life. Even if you think you're over it, you're not really. I mean, I talked to, you know, some presenters on GB News, and everybody's had a little bit of a shift, haven't they? Everybody's had a little bit of a key turning exercise. Something's cranked you up into that space you never thought you'd be in, where you're permanently looking over your shoulder thinking, well, what's going to happen next? Are they going to lock us down again? Are they going to force us into drugs? Are they going to make us wear things on our faces? And you're bound to quiz it because nobody ever thought it would happen in the first place. And then everybody that instigated all this is all cleared away. It's like blowing sand off a table. They're gone. You can't go and talk to them about why they decided to do things. Where's Sajid Javid now? Oh, he's gone, isn't he? He's through the mist, that boy. Same with Hancock. Wancock. I mean, I just see him as like a little schoolboy. Can you imagine him with snake belt on, with conkers, always missing? I couldn't take that man seriously. And all the contacts. You see, this is why these little creeps like going to the World Economic Forum, because they can always do a bit of back channeling for a job later on when they're on their arse end. I mean, he wants to be a TV star. Doing what? Starring as an knobhead. What are you going to star as? You're not a leading man, are you? You're definitely not a leading man. So, all right, then what are you going to do? A presenter? No one wants to watch you. We've all remembered what you did with your overdosing or your over-ordering of a certain drug. Not so sure how that's received on this channel, so I won't even say it. Who are these people? He wants to be a presenter now. We don't want you. We didn't want you as an MP. We didn't want you as a minister. We never chose you. So, unfortunately, these people have a massive ego and they're still floating around, aren't they, in the swamp? Popping their head up for a bit of fresh air now and then. Still there. Trying to make a name for themselves because it's easier than bloody working. So, what we have to do is see it for what it is. Don't be all afraid, oh, well, Labour's in now. Labour were always in. It isn't really Labour, is it? I don't even know how to label them up. The Wef Party, Westminster, that's a good one, the way they call it Westminster. That's a belter, whoever thought of that. So, the thing is, be careful of people who are offering solutions that are asking for money to give you the solutions. Always remember, the best counsellors in the world are going to sit you down and tell you to help yourself. It's down to you at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter whether you're financially strapped, whether you're emotionally drained, whatever the problem is, it starts and ends with you. It's up to you to be the one to instigate that change. We've all got it in us. I've spoken to veterans who have been homeless and decided to make that change. It doesn't happen for everyone, but some of them have turned their lives around, and it's all come from the thought process in their own heads. Every single thing you do starts from a thought. From thinking of getting up to have a cup of tea to thinking of booking a holiday, everything starts from a thought. So change your thoughts. Change your thoughts and you'll change your dynamics, and it will work for you. It will.